So please tell your friends to get extra credit, come to the events. We've got food. You guys can see the food back there. There's no way with the small crowd that we're going to eat all the food. So eat as much as you like. That's the key takeaway for that one. But let all your friends know that there are more events happening this week. Today for this event, we've got two guest speakers. We're going to open it up with Simeon Ramon Simeon. Who's going to introduce you guys to a very important electronic portfolio for helping you get into your career later after college graduation, keeping track of accomplishments as you go through and so on and so forth. She'll tell you all about that. Involving that will be our keynote speaker, Reginald Dowdy, who brought along Emmanuel Peters as well. To talk to you guys about the business of cybersecurity and and the uses of STEM in business itself. So I will give you more information about him, but I'm absolutely positive he's going to tell you everything in the world you need to know about himself because that's who he is. So anyway, Ramon, take it away.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon on this rainy day. So glad you guys came out. Again, my name is Ramon Simeon. I am from Georgia State University, and I work in career services, a very important resource for all of you all. So if you haven't visited your campus career service center, definitely make sure before you graduate to do that. What I was asked to do was talk about just one of our resources, and it's related to those who, particularly if you're in STEM field, anybody in STEM field have interest, great, how to brand yourself. And so what I want you to do is just show you a video on the tool, and it's called Portfolio. And it's real short. Hopefully there's some. Okay, yeah, thank you.
You're working hard toward earning your degree. But did you know that more than half of all recent graduates are unemployed or underemployed? See, a majority of employers think graduates don't have job-ready skills. They're wrong, but it's not completely. They're relying on the data that's available to them, like your GPA, major, and school ranking. But you're so much more than that. That's why Portfolio was created. When you use Portfolio, the work you complete inside and outside of the classroom, the projects, presentations, papers, labs, clubs, and activities is made searchable by employers. So your last class project can lead to an amazing internship or your dream job. Tens of thousands of employers match their jobs to the skills you've proven in your work, allowing them to reach out and hire the real you. Portfolio. Get started today.
All right. And so you basically can access Portfolio by just using your GSU sign-on system, okay? Another exciting thing with Portfolio, we are hiring. We are looking for people who like to talk to their peers, to go out and be ambassadors to sell this on campus. Basically, making sure that people utilize it, build your brand on Portfolio, and it's on Handshake. You guys are familiar with Handshake? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, it's the online job board that we have, and you have access to use that on campus, off campus, on your phone, on your laptop, or your tablet. You'll find this job in here. And we're looking for 30 students starting in the summer. It pays $10 an hour, and it's only 10 hours a week. And so if you get hired from Decatur, you'll work on the Decatur campus. If you get hired for Atlanta, you work on Atlanta campus, and so forth. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. If you haven't begun to use Handshake, definitely use it. If you have begun to use Portfolio, definitely want to get you to do that. If you have any questions about it, Tina can definitely direct you to the right resources and make sure. But I am going to come back. Who's my instructor? I am going to come back to do a more detailed tutorial on how to use it, okay? Y'all enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? How's it going, everybody? Is that okay? Hey, baby. Hey, yeah, that's my baby right there. Yeah, see, you never stop being a dad, okay? So I bring them everywhere that I go. Hey, hasn't this been a rough month for America at large as it relates to April the 4th, 1968? Anybody know what I'm talking about? That young man in the back, what am I talking about? Come on now. MLK, the day he was shot, Memphis, Tennessee, working on behalf of the sanitation workers, trying to get them equal rights. So I know what I'm here to speak about, but look here. I'm going to put some certain things in order as it relates to making me whole so that I'm able to feed you, okay? So I'm going to talk about MLK right now because if you're not careful about looking at what has happened in our past, you won't understand your future. And I'm not talking about anything from an ethnic perspective. I'm not talking about anything from a color perspective. I'm talking about history, which affects everybody. Am I right?
Yep.
So let's talk about that just for a little bit. And I promise you I won't stay there because I think it's important that if you get it, well then you're likely to succeed in other areas of your life. Senseless, 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 senseless. Shooting a man because he wants to do what is right for America at large. Trying to put America on the doorstep of evolving into a better nation. Here we same thing. We're trying to evolve. That's why you have GSU, am I correct? Trying to evolve. So then the question becomes, is it worth your death? Did I hit you too hard? Did I hit you too hard? Is it worth your death that you die trying to do something for the greater good? Am I hitting home? It should be. Because the fact of the matter is your education is everything. I'll die for mine. Because otherwise you're living and not existing. And not existing. In respect to, we have to be conscious about who we are in this space in terms of our career paths. It should be worth dying for. You need to eat it. You need to sleep it. You need to play basketball with it, play soccer with it. If you don't, can't expect anything out of it. In real time, whatever you put into this situation, this GSU form is what you're going to get out of it. Is it worth dying for? Is it worth dying for? Keep asking yourself that question as I go along here. So I want to also talk about being afraid to make a change. There's no reason for you whatsoever to be afraid to make changes in your life. Because in many respects before, I'm going back to April 4th, before he made that speech, Martin Luther King, he talked about being afraid to be in that space, but he did it anyway. He did it anyway. He did it with the idea that he may not live past that moment. And so it was true. I'm going to get around to this, but let me tell you where I'm going with this. In the workplace, can't be afraid. You're going to have to do some things that are going to challenge you, that's going to test you beyond your limits, your natural limits. I'm going to make this whole for you. I just don't want you to forget about this, what I'm talking about right now, okay? Tell you a little bit about something. When I was a kid, because I want you to understand what has driven me into this form in this classroom. I was born in, now I'll tell you when I was born, but I'm twice the age in many cases. I was in an all-black school as a third grader. In 1974, already for me, there's a math teacher over here, he's like, I got math teachers there, ain't no math. 74, I was bused from all-black school to all-white school. And I was happy where I was playing football, playing Foursquare in the morning. Some of y'all can't relate to Foursquare. But when I was transferred from an all-black school to an all-white school, I was led to believe that I was less than. Define that for me, Mr. Dowdy. I was spat on because of the color of my skin. I was called the N-word because of the color of my skin. I didn't receive proper education because of the color of my skin, nor did I want it, to be quite frank with you. And it took me for a mental loop to the extent that I didn't want to be there because I didn't have to be there. So I had to find a way to exist and to coexist. In doing so, I relied upon the only thing that was native to me, my athletic skills. The game there was soccer. I came from football, one of the same in Europe. But the game was soccer. Got better at it. Got real good at it. So much so that I earned a scholarship to Midwestern State University to play soccer. But let's go back to 74. Playing soccer made my peers look at me in a different way. Because I was faster, I was a lot more skillful. So all the spitting subsided. All the N-words subsided. Anybody familiar with Pele? Pele, okay, yeah, Pele. He was a Brazilian player, excellent player, soccer player, and they started labeling me with that name, Pele. Didn't speak the language, but I was just as good. But that traversed into something even more cynical for me because I thought that was the end of it. I thought I was going over my peers. I'm talking about how I got here. It's important. History is important. I grew up in subsidized housing projects. And so when we played games, we played soccer games against people that were on the north side of town. You know, anytime you go north, oftentimes that's assimilated with the well-to-do. In Dallas, Texas, it was. Across the railroad track, then you're doing better. They didn't know me. They were white. And they did what was done to me at the school that I was at. So I had to prove to them once again who I was. Got better, talking about how I got here. I'm mad now. I'm pissed now. I have to prove myself once again who I am. Today, I'm proving myself again in the workplace. I'm going a little bit further, but I'm going to get back to it. I'm always have to prove myself, but at certain age, I'm good with that. Because what I do, I'm doggone good at. Being spat on, called the N-word and everything else, made me realize in order to do what I needed to do to make a career for myself, I had to get better at what I did, no matter the cost. Minus the N-word. I ain't putting them on the N-word today. We got problems. As they say, I'm going to put some hands on this. No. I'm not going to do that. But, hey, look, leaving that elementary school and becoming an adult led me into a career with Bank of America as a manager, managing a branch and several branches, if you would. And it was a very unique situation for me in that I found myself in a situation again where I had to prove myself. It's okay. Why is it okay? It's okay because I've been through this before. What am I talking about? Let your past make a bridge into your future for you. Don't let it hold you down. In Bank of America, found myself in a situation that was unique. They said to me, Mr. Dowdy, we're going to have somebody come into your office, all your locations, and they're just going to sit there, and they're going to take information about the goings and comings of your customers. Okay, not a problem. They sat there for about a week, and I interacted with them to the best of my ability. They were very closed-mouthed about what they were doing. And then the next thing that I know, an ATM pops up on the scene. First ATM ever. It's interesting. A boss pulled me aside and said, hey, look, what we want to do is migrate all our customers from that teller window out there to that ATM machine. Those resisting were the age group of the elderly. Those that were open to it were younger groups. But let's look at this from a commerce perspective. Well, let's look at it from a personnel perspective. Because if you're listening closely, we're already talking about what I'm here to talk about. And that's, the Bible says, all those who have ears can't hear, and all those who have eyes can't see. So if you're listening closely, we're already talking about the reason that I'm here. Let's migrate all of these people from this ATM window, from this teller window to this ATM machine. Technology is on the rise. That's what it says. And I thought to myself, what does that leave me? You already took away my lending authority. I can't lend any more money to people. So what B of A was doing was saying, look here, because of the S&L scandal, a lot of y'all on the S&L scandal, saving the loan industry, which was a situation where a lot of good old boys, if you would, were giving money freely to their friends, not holding them accountable. The banks were losing a lot of money as a result of it. So they said, look, we're going to take that money, centralize it out of California, so that we know what's going on with our money and who these people who's getting our money. Took my job away from me in a real sense. I became a glorified teller. It's an ATM machine out there. It's an ATM machine out there. Follow me? Talking about STEM. That we got to do something about our customer base. And we have to do something to improve how they feel about their experience once they come into this space, in this place. I received that. As you should when somebody enters your building, your life, your circle of friendship, and offers something new to you. Receive it. Believe what people tell you. Your job is to do something about it. As a result, I do something about it. Once again, I got to prove myself. Went back to school. Graduated from DeVry University. CIS degree. Had to. At that point in time, I was an old man. But I had to change with the time. I'm old now, but I was older then. I was old then, but I'm older now. So let's just stop right there for a minute. Because if there is a question that cybersecurity, that STEM belongs to the youth, let me dispel that right now. I don't want to tell my age, but I was in my 30s when I got that engineering degree. Who is STEM for? It ain't for the young only. It's for the old as well. That's if you want it. I mean, I'm still talking about STEM. But I'm trying to make it relevant to you because oftentimes you don't see certain things coming. You won't ever see STEM change coming unless you're directly involved with it. Because what you're doing, if you're working in a STEM capacity, especially in technology, you're working on a component of 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 a component for the bigger picture. For them to give you the bigger picture is for them to divulge where they're going. For you to know that is for you to get on Snapchat, Twitter, and tell everybody and misrepresent the product or the service and or try to do it yourself without no money, of course. Because it takes money to move that product. So we're talking about STEM. You'll never see it coming, but you have to be prepared for it. How do you prepare yourself for it? I said earlier, you have to eat it, sleep it, play basketball with it, football with it, whatever you do. If ever you want to be successful in your career, you cannot allow yourself to go to sleep on the job. Here's what I don't want you to do, though. Don't chase it. Let me give you an example. when I was at Rye University, the operating system was 98, Windows 98. By the time I graduated, Windows 2000 was out. Professor Jensen, who I really admire, have a relationship with him today, said, look, what I don't want you to do, son, is chase that. You can't learn everything. You can't learn everything. More importantly, companies are not using new technology. Not at the same rate that they're using old technology. My mother used to say, get somewhere and sit your butt down. I'm telling you the same thing, but in a technical way. Learn a craft, learn a skill, and sit on it. Sit on it until you understand it, until you can embrace it, because somebody is using it. What you don't want to do is embrace something new and you not know all there is to know about it. That's the last thing you want to do, because when a server breaks down, a router breaks down, a switch breaks down, you need to know how to do it without calling somebody else to come and fix it for you. Follow me? Still talking about STEM. Look, and if this thing that we're talking about right now has not gotten your attention in respect to making you want to do something about it, you're on space and place. Because there are some people out there that is ready to eat your lunch as far as technology is concerned. The knowledge thereof. Stand up, Barkley. Turn around and look at that young man right there. That's Barkley. That's him. His last name is the same as mine. And I'm preparing him to eat your lunch. Mr. Emmanuel is going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm not bragging on him, I'm not boasting on him, because that's not mine to do. But look here, that's my son. I would be negligent if I didn't teach him what I knew and prepare him for tomorrow. Because by the time he gets on the scene, the only thing is going to be, I really believe what's happening now, you're going to be an engineer, doctor, or a lawyer in terms of professions are concerned. Things are changing. Why? People, commerce, employers are trying to streamline. They're trying to streamline. You remember that ATM machine? The reason why they put that there is because it wasn't because they're trying to have a better customer experience. They need to make more money. That's what's driving this thing. They need to make more money. They don't care about you, and how you live. Your contract with your employer is for however long it takes you to get paid the next day. If you get paid bi-weekly, that's how long your contract is. Whether you're a full-time employee or not. You have a 2-week obligation or a bi-weekly obligation. No matter what you sign. What keeps you there, though? Your hunger to do better, to learn better, to know more than the next person. There's so much into that I really want to dig into, but because knowing what you know, you can't keep it to yourself. If you do, you're going to fail at this game. It's called soft skills. Anybody know what soft skills are? Raise your hand. Anybody know what soft skills are? Communicating effectively with your peers. Adding something to the circle of your peers. Knowing how to enter a room. Knowing how to share information. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but let me tell you this. In the tech world, the biggest problem in tech today is that you and I can't talk to one another. You work in mobile. I work in a different department. And we can't talk to one another. Why? Because we talk different languages, but in the same household. That's like me and my mother not being able to talk to one another, and living in the same household. In the tech world, The fact of the matter is this, so many people are unable to explain what they're able to do. I don't understand that. Can't explain, they can do it, but they can't explain what they're able to do. So much so that industry now is creating a business liaison to communicate between me and you now. What happens where the customer is concerned? Because that's the end goal, is to make the customer happy. If you and I can't talk to one another, or if you're the customer and I'm the company and I can't relate to you, you call me and say, look, I need a call manager at my business location. Anybody know what a call manager is? Call manager is here we're going to talk about STEM once again. Call manager is that very thing that you hear when you call GSU. If you want to talk to Mr. Flowers, push number 1. If you want to talk to Mr. King, push number 2. If you want to leave a voice message, press 3. That's a call manager. And that thing is expensive. And it is a unique piece of communication equipment. It is huge. But that call manager is that thing that bonds two people together, make that money flow, that e-commerce flow. I'm gonna get to where we're gonna really talk about, but I want to talk more about this here. I want to propose this to you for the purpose of building a solid foundation, which I want to argue at least one important aspect of STEM. Would you pay $40,000 to $45,000 for a mirror? Would you do the same where a house is concerned? More than likely you would. Why? Because it's an investment. You live in it. You can find shelter in it. Sounds reasonable. But why not a mirror? A mirror, in many ways, in the only way, is to reflect what you see right now. I can't see what you see. I can't see what you see. But you see something wrong with me. Understand? What this mirror does shows me what's wrong with me. What I see I don't like. Without it, I love it. It's a pretty boy. But in a real sense, you would pay $40,000 to $45,000 for that mirror. Got your attention? When you entered this school, that's what you did. You paid $40,000 to $45,000 for your tuition. This is your mirror. It's revealing to you what's wrong with you. How you're going to change what you see. What you see. In respect to everything that I've talked about up to this point. You need that mirror. You need a mirror experience. Because, let me tell you something, as good as you think you are, there's still something wrong with you. Still something wrong with you. Remember we talked about getting better all the time? Learning more? In my world, C++, Java, JavaScript, SQL, always got to change. But the one thing this thing can't do is change what you see. The school can't change what you see about yourself. It can only reflect what you see. It's your job to change it. This is a wonderful opportunity for everybody in this classroom a wonderful opportunity for everybody in this classroom to make change, to do something about it. Is it easy? No. It's not easy. Can't be easy. Anything worth having is worth you working for. Blame it on Adam and Eve if you want to. Ain't gonna do you no good. For all you Bible thumpers out there, I love the Lord. I really do. Mark, I told you I may go there. I don't know, but fact of the matter is I love the Lord. It's my Lord and Savior. But here we are. That thing is there to reflect what's wrong with you. Your job is to change what's wrong with you. It's going to be hard work. Let me tell you another funny story about DeVry University. Upon my graduation, I graduated magna cum laude on top of that. I got into the workplace, and I saw myself falling short. I said to myself, what did all that money do for me? I'm in the workplace. What I learned doesn't match up with what's out in the real world. Whose fault is that? I have to take that responsibility. I graduated magna cum laude. I still have to take that responsibility. In the real sense, I want to talk to you about things change so fast. I was good while I was there, but by the time I got out, things had changed. STEM in the workplace. Science. Did we talk about STEM? Have we been talking about STEM? The fact of the matter is we have. Let me confirm that for you. And I just want to be very big, and I'm going to let Emmanuel Peters come up here and talk to you. Let me confirm that for you. So, science, the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation. Did somebody come in the Bank of America and say, I want to sit there and observe what you're doing and the customer flow? Is that science? I want to reiterate again, you're never going to see it coming unless you have an analytical mind and you have the behavior to see things that the natural person can't see. Technology, the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in industry. Let me read that again. The application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. For all that is worth, they were sitting in my bank collecting information so that they could build something to sit outside. Aren't we still talking about STEM? You never see it coming. Engineering, the branch of science and technology concerned with design, building, and the use of engines, machines, and structure. Every time you come into this building, especially in the computer lab, you see about a computer. What ended up being outside the Bank of America, the story that I told you. You thought it was irrelevant. Here we are talking about it now. I'm defining STEM for you. That's what you brought me here for. That computer was sitting outside in that driveway for those customers to use. Math, the abstract science of numbers, quantity, and space. Zeros and ones. What do you think pushes that machine? The language I talk is zeros and ones. Hexadecimal. Familiar? That sounds familiar to anybody? Binary. Sounds familiar to anybody? Isn't that what you guys cover in math? Binary numbers, hexadecimal. Thought that story was irrelevant, didn't you? You got ears, you heard what I said. And you weren't expecting something big, something grand. Keep looking for that big thing, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. Let me tell you something. Life is simple. Simplicity is the key. There's much more I want to share with you, but I have Mr. Peters here that is an awesome developer. And I want him to share with you as well. I brought him here because He's a lot younger than I am. He can probably relate to y'all a little bit better than I can. But the fact of the matter is, STEM is everywhere. You cannot, don't look for anything big is what I'm trying to tell you. The misconceptions out there about STEM. We're going to have a Q&A before this thing is over, so I want to hear from you. But it's not big. So I told you I love the Lord, and I think the Bible has a lot to offer. And I thank God for this opportunity to be here today. I pray for the very existence of being in this room today, because I've always had some concern about youth getting involved with technology. A lot of them are afraid of it. Somebody's painted this picture that it's just complex, and it's not. Simplicity is the key. So I'm going to share with you about this Bible story very briefly, and I'm going to ask Mr. Peters to come up here. Jesus Christ. Now you tell your mom you went to church today too. Jesus Christ, simple as he was. Anybody know who Pharisees and Sadducees were? These were theologians. These were the great Bible theologians of biblical time, Bible days. They were looking for the Messiah. And they had this idea in their mind that this person was going to be something bigger than what came on the scene. To the extent that when Jesus stepped on the scene, they missed him totally. Crucified him on top of that. Don't kill your dream because you can't identify it. Don't kill your dream because you can't identify with it. Know what you're seeking. Know its worth. Mr. Peters.
And Mr. Dowdy, he has a powerful voice, but hopefully, can you guys hear me, or do I need to use this wonderful piece of technology here? Use the technology? Okay. Okay, if I can get it wrapped from around this pole. Okay. We're on track. Okay. Hello? Hello? I will project because just like in real life, not everything works when you use it. So, hello, no difference. But I will just project louder. And if the sound, if it's needed, then we'll keep going from there. But one thing I wanted to give a little background about myself. I am, like Mr. Dowdy said, a freelance developer. I work with many small businesses. And also, not only that, I'm also a teacher as well by trade. I've been teaching for many, many years now. And I want to zero in more so on STEM when it comes to education as well, okay? Because there's some big things. You know how Mr. Dowdy said that the change comes and you don't even see it? Well, there's a lot of things changing in education now, and you don't even see it because we're, well, I already graduated, so I'm not in college. I graduated college, but you guys are in college right now, okay? But there's some things happening way back that you don't even see. So I'm going to let you know that the status quo of when people get into STEM, when people get into science, math, technology, engineering, when people get into that, it's changing even when people start, and that let you know. So back in 2007, my uncle came to me. He was like, and I told him how I want, I was like, yeah, I like technology. And I was like, okay, I want to be a coder one day. And here I am, a coder. So my uncle was like, oh, no, that's for adults. You're a kid. That's for adults. Coding is hard. And that's just back in 2007. Okay? Back in 2008, and this is where I believe God stepped in for me personally. And I can't make this up. There's a man named Jacob Israel. Never heard of Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Israel? That was his legal name. He actually came to my school, a man named Jacob Israel, and he taught me and 3 other students how to program in Java when I was in the 8th grade. Okay? Back in 2008, that was unheard of. It was actually, I later found out that Jacob Israel, he actually talked to some of the people at Georgia Tech and told them what he was about to do. And they told him, oh, that is just not going to work. They're too young. That was his colleagues at Georgia Tech. So out of the 3 students, it was me and 1 other student, and I was one of the top of those 3. And I actually got invited to work with Georgia Tech at their summer camps when I was in 9th grade. So back in 2009, the thought of teaching kids, I'm talking about literally below middle school level, anything coding, typing code, was still unheard of. So the middle school age back in 2009, the Georgia Tech camps, right, they're directly connected with the heart of technology. So if they want to know about what's good now, they can go across the street because Georgia Tech is a huge campus, of course, there's the streets there. So they literally taught the students something called EV3 robotics. You may not know what that is, but it's drag and drop, where you can just drag a block in, set a robot to move forward, set a robot to move backwards, turn, things like that, okay? That was middle school. That was middle school they were teaching this to. And technology and STEM education has changed so much. Now, in 2011, right, that is when I went in 2009. In 2011, Georgia Tech started to get the hint that maybe younger students can probably pick this up. So I was there for 2 years assisting, and my colleagues were in college, your age. I was in the 9th grade, my colleagues were your age and older. And I was working alongside them teaching these camps. It was 2 years before they figured out, wait, there's probably other kids that can get it too. And now kids my age started going and working with me. Back in 2014, this is 4 years ago, really 3 is some change, being honest. A woman named Marlene Reynolds. Now, she is the owner of KITES, Kids Interested in Science, Technology, Engineering. She actually pushed the boat by giving students that were in the 3rd and 4th grade access to the EV3 robotics. So now I'm teaching students in the 3rd grade and the 4th grade what was once taught to the middle school 2 years ago. It's actually dropped from high school to middle school to elementary in a course of 4 years, EV3 robotics. And she pushed that, and she went forward. And in 2015, I encountered one student. His name is Jonas. And you won't believe me when I tell you. So I'm going to tell you. Anyway, I worked with him, and he made, so I have never seen one before, a 4D engine in Java. Java is a text-based language. It's what your phones run off of. Java is used in the cloud. Java is used everywhere. He made a 4D engine in Java. So, real quick, raise your hand if you've seen a 4D engine. Never seen one before, right? Exactly. A 4D engine is where he took 4-dimensional vectors, you know vectors in math, right? He took 4-dimensional vectors and rendered a 3D image from a 4-dimensional space. So how he described it to me, his words, we were looking at a 3-dimensional cross-section of the 4-dimensional vector space. He was in 6th grade explaining that to me. He was in 6th grade. You wouldn't even, so this is a 6th grader, 7th grader approaching, making a 4D engine. So, and to describe it, you would see a cube on the screen. Move the cube up, down, left, right, turn it, rotate it, everything. But there's a key on the keyboard that he'll press to move the cube in the 4th dimension. The cube will literally warp before your eyes and turn into all types of random shapes. And then he'll go back in the fourth dimension, then go back to regular cube, and then he goes negatively in the fourth dimension, and the cube will turn into other oblong shapes because we're looking at a three-dimensional cross-section of a four-dimensional space. Right? Now, in 2017, this is just things that I have seen, you guys. And like I told you, all this is while we're in college, and this is happening behind you. This is happening behind you. You're here now, but this is happening behind you. These are younger students. In 2017, I was able to mentor a young man named Ethan, and I taught him everything from server administration. Have anyone heard of Amazon Web Services? Raise your hand if you have. Okay. If you haven't heard of Amazon Web Services, there's two types of people. People that will hear about it and people that won't. Unfortunately, you're the people that won't. Amazon Web Services is taking over the tech industry right now. McDonald's, their whole platform is being ported over there. Right? Piece by piece. Turner Broadcasting, they're porting over all their videos into Amazon. Netflix, completely hosted on Amazon. Amazon, obviously, is hosted on Amazon, the website that you know about. So I taught him server administration. I taught him Amazon Web Services. Worked with him with Python. And work with him with JavaScript. And I want to mention one thing. Later on, he got into Georgia Tech as dual enrollment student, working alongside you guys. Georgia Tech. Now, did I mention how old he was? I didn't tell you, right? Take a guess. What grade was he in? 13, 14? You're about right. He was going to the 6th grade. He was in the 6th grade when he sat in the college students amongst you guys. And he was so well versed after the time teaching him and things like that, that literally his peers, the professor of the college, not college, but that classroom, the professor of the college would say, things like, Ethan, go easy on him. And you're like, what do you mean go easy on him? Have anyone heard of the curve? When you curve, we all know about the curve, right? Okay, some of your professors make curves. So if you get a 90, so if the highest person got a 90, the highest person got 100. And everyone else goes up 10 points. You get what I mean? That's the curve. His grades on these tests were so high that the professor would be like, go easy on him, Ethan, because you're going to mess up the curve. Everyone else is going to get below you on the test. That is the position that he was, and as I mentioned, you would never see this because we're in college and all this is behind us. So now, moving forward, going into that, we understand that even Barkley, as mentioned before, I got a chance to actually just view one of his codes, and it was amazing. Have anyone heard of a programming language called Python? Python, anyone? Okay, so Python is a programming language used in different government institutions, scientific institutions. Python is extremely popular. I use it on back-end servers. It's very popular. When I've used his code, I've recognized that he had over 200 lines of Python code running a game. And he is currently in the 5th grade. By the way, he was skipped ahead. He's supposed to be age-wise in the 4th grade. This is a 4th grader that has 200 lines of Python code, way more than any normal assignment given to us in college. One assignment may have 100 lines of code max. He has 200 lines of code over that, by the way, and it's also managing that code with something called GitHub, which is an industry standard code management platform. And this is 4th grade now. So do you understand how in 2007, the status quo was only adults can do coding. Now, 4th graders are coding in Python. So technology in 10 years went from adults to 4th graders. 10 years. adults to fourth graders. And now we have fifth and sixth graders, Marlene Reynolds, the same lady. This year, she introduced a STEM lab where fifth graders and fourth graders can do 3D printing, engineering, and coding in a STEM lab. So I'm just letting you know where things are going. How the status quo of when you get into technology is dropping, and it is not, it's really not going to be an abnormal thing 10 years from today, 20 years from today, that you'd be a coder. I mean, it will literally be to the point where, you know, let's just say you have your boyfriend or girlfriend bring you to your mom, and he's like, Mom, I really like this person, and the mom's going to ask you these questions to you. Are they a doctor? He's like, no, Mom. Are they a lawyer? Like, okay, no, Mom. Are they a developer? And he's like, well, maybe. Are they an engineer? Those would be the four fields, really. That would be the highest, they already are, and will continue to be the highest paying field. So I really want to let you understand where technology is, where the technology education is, and just, if you look around, you may see a seventh grader in class one day before you graduate. Don't be surprised, and understand that, don't feel bad. I learned it in 8th grade, so I guess I was behind the curve, right? So don't feel bad about that. And one thing I also want to just reiterate on freelancing. So has anyone ever thought about going to business for yourself? Okay. So one of the key pieces of advice that I can leave with you, start now, like right now. And if you haven't started now, you need to start now. And by the way, if you haven't started now, you should have started yesterday. You understand why I'm emphasizing this? Because businesses, and I don't want to be, if I'm the first, hopefully I'm the second person to tell you this, but businesses are like trees. If you plant the apple seed today, we eat apples tomorrow. Okay. We eat apples the next year. It's a tree. No. We eat apples in 2 years. No. Maybe 3 years from the day that you plant the apple seed, you may get some good fruit off of it. Maybe according to a branch of apple you planted. But can someone here tell me right now, do I have to water that tree the whole time? Okay, do I have to fertilize the tree the whole time? Do I have to protect it while I was young? So you have to make investments into your business. In this case, if you're going into your business for yourself, you have to make investments into yourself, right? And you have to water that for years and years and years. And then eventually, you'll be able to reap fruit from it. So that's really it. And I'm going to leave it to Mr. Dowdy to finish up. But those key things, those key concepts that technology is changing, technology in education is changing, and if you want to go in business for yourself, focus on what you want to learn, get good at that, and water it, put into it, get good at that. You want to make apps, get good at that. You want to do accounting, get good at that. And you keep watering that seed, and you keep pushing forward, okay?
For every 3 jobs, IT jobs, tech jobs, there's 1 applicant today. For every non-tech job, there's 3 applicants. Make sense? Look, not even scary. Here to bring reality to the table. STEM in the workplace is broad, very broad. So it's hard to put that in a box and help you understand where you need to go. But soft skills are important. We didn't talk about soft skills. I have a wife that has been in the HR field for 20 plus years. And some of the things that we talk about some young people coming into a workplace, okay. Look here, STEM. They want your passwords to your Snapchat, to your social media, You can't do that. You might as well just walk on out the door. Why? Because they're worried about their brain. What are you bringing to the table? They're worried about their brain, their money. I talked about that while I was with you. They're worried about their money. They're worried about their money. They're worried about their money. What you do today will affect your tomorrow. STEM. Got it in your head. Your cell phones. You use it in this place of higher learning. Questions and answers. Q&A. Anybody have any questions?
Okay. So, for someone who was on one certain path that, they, have talked to counselors about and whatnot, and so have been influenced by you all speaking today and want to get on track with the technology wave, what do you think would be the first step for them?
Well, quite frankly, partnership and networking is everything, guys. And you have to find people. Look, you want to be a doctor, hang out with a doctor. Want to be a drug dealer, go hang out with a drug dealer. Let's just put it, simplicity, guys. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I've been talking about all day. Simplicity. Yeah. I hope you don't go that route. I pray you don't go that route. But I'm just trying to make a point. But where the drug dealer is concerned, it's the simple stuff. If you're attracted to the simple stuff, you're not going to make it. You got to be challenged. Partner with someone that is in the field that you're concerned with, that you want to be involved with, and make that your lifestyle. Look here, where Barkley is concerned, my son, learning for him is not a chore. That's a lifestyle. And there's a difference between a chore and a lifestyle. You have to understand that. When he sits down and reads a book, I gave that boy a book. His mother bought him a book on a Sunday, 300 pages. By Tuesday night, he was finished with it. I said, look here, boy, we're going to be buying all these books. But no, I encourage that. But again, all I'm saying, partner with someone that is doing what you want to do. Before I leave, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk. And I wanted to share with y'all too, and I promise I'm going to let somebody else ask a question if you need to. I talked about a little bit. Sharing information in the IT field or the tech field is just crazy. It's likely it's because they don't know how to share. With Emmanuel, he's just able to do one thing and be able to explain what he's doing. Some people in the field can't. A whole lot of people in the field can't. I don't understand that. Well, I'll put a word up, introverted. And that's somebody that is subsequently has grown up in a room by themselves, all, playing a game, don't interact with anybody. Look, that's not a good skill to have in the workplace. Now, they're acceptive of that right now, but not for long. And the reason why it's not going to be accepted is because we need to be able to talk to one another in a business place. If we're not sharing information, we're not growing as a business. Still, I can't hire you if you're not going to teach anybody to come along behind you. That's hurt my business. Anybody else have a question?
And there's two routes to about how do you get into the same thing. There's route. I use my phone. Can you hear me better? No? Can you hear me better? Better? Okay. Route one is exactly what Mr. Dowd talked about. You need to get your soft skills. You need to get your network so that you can actually get hired at a tech firm. Okay? So that's route one. Now, tech firms are now looking for actual, you have this many years in X, or this many years in this language, this many years in that language. Another route that you can go, which you should start tomorrow, is, like I said, freelancing route. Me personally, I have a team of 4 people on my team, right? And I have a coder on standby just because I can't handle the workload. I have a writer, because you read, sorry about that's work-related. And that was work-related, by the way. Right, that was work-related. But you read everything on the screen. So I have a writer, I have a graphic designer, and a 3D graphic designer, right, and animator. So between us, we can build pretty much anything. Between websites, web applications, and also with your network, you need to, instead of learning how to be a graphic designer, instead of going back to college to be a writer, and then become an animator, and then have your programming skills together, by the time you get done learning all that, you're going to be about 50 and you haven't done a single project, right? So that's why your network is extremely important. Find those people that they're not necessarily in STEM, but STEM is interdisciplinary. So get with those people, keep their numbers. Like, hey, okay, let me get your number down. Oh, we're going to hang out, we're going to go to the movies. Because you never know what that relationship will turn into. So have your team and make sure you know what you're good at and master what you are good at. Get so good at it that it is ridiculous, okay? That when people go to you like, okay, if you need this done, go to Brian over here. If you need this done, you need to go to John over here. He is the best at doing this. Because, and it's also said also even in the Word, like how literally when your gifts make room for you. And also it talks about how the Proverbs, see the guy making chairs. A person that can make chairs can sit in front of kings. Because if they are the best chair makers on the planet, do you think when they make the throne chairs, they're going to hire Joe across the street that never made a chair, or the best one? The best one. So even if you make chairs, you can see presidents, you can see senators making chairs. So find the task that you're good at, and oh my God, your resume will explode. Like I actually went over a resume for fun with one of the people that I worked with, and I was like, wow, it was surprising the amount that is learned when you actually do projects in the workplace. So yeah.
Hey, I know I mentioned this. I'm gonna let you guys go because I know y'all want to go and keep boyfriends and girlfriends and do your work. I mentioned the term soft skills. So, how many people know what soft skills are? All right, let me be fair then. And communication, verbal, written, active listening, body language. That's a soft skill. Simplicity. We're talking about simplicity, right? That's all I've been talking about. Strategy, decision making, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, ability to locate and use information, professionalism, emotional and intellect, work ethic, time management. Even if you go on a QT to go to work, you need to be on time. People see that and will label you if you're not on time. So collaboration, ability to operate effectively in a team environment, especially in technology. Everything that's going on right now in STEM. Outside of STEM is work, is based upon a team environment. Can't get mad at old girl because she ain't doing a part. Old boy because he ain't doing his part. He on his cell phone, you know. That's just, let me tell you why they're important. Because what it does for a company, it bridges the skill gap. Okay? It makes the company more valuable. Promotes career advancement, enhances professional development, assists with co-worker and customer interactions. I can go on and on. But the good practice come down here.
There's one more thing I want to emphasize about the soft skills too. Just in case you missed it for any reason, you're not going to get anywhere, period, if you don't have the soft skills. It's impossible. Because if you go to, for example, I meet with clients, meet by phone, meet by, video chat. When I talk to clients, I have to explain a very complicated process of, building an AI system to scan songs or building, literal things I've done. Building infrastructures in order to house their documents and send them places. So I have to communicate these very complicated things to people that they ask me things like, "Oh, I heard about Netflix," and I'm like, "Well, I know about Internet Explorer. I don't even know what Chrome is. You see how hard that can get if you don't even know what Google Chrome is, the browser? So we have to explain these things. The soft skills is the interpersonal, to be able to, be patient, be able to speak clearly, to not sound like you, honestly, hey, what's up? How you doing, man? What? No, it's just not going to get anywhere. You get what I mean? So how you speak, being able to relay your message in a simplistic way and knowing your audience. I am not going to club. I literally have to teach how the internet works to second, third, and fourth graders. That was the hardest thing, one of the hardest things I had to do this year. Because they didn't know what a file was. File, F-I-L-E, they didn't even know what that was. But it got done. So being able to understand, relate to your audience, be able to present yourself in a professional manner, that will get you a job, that will get you your clients, and clients feel comfortable when they know that you know what you're talking about and can explain it to them. So, all right.
So before Mr. Dowdy and Mr. Peter leave, I wanted to ask them a quick question to answer for you on the same thread as simplicity and knowing your audience. You spoke of the fourth graders and the third graders and fifth graders coming out behind and eating our students' lunch and all that kind of things, right? And the fact that older folks may go backwards and learn something and then adopt it, as Mr. Dowdy did when he was in his mid-30s. He's 51. So I wanted to ask you, on the thread of simplicity and along that same line there, many of our students here may not have experience in coding. They may not have experience out in STEM, with the exception of the classes they might be taking right now, and the relevance that might apply to their real life. What would be the simplest, most important, number one takeaway that you guys would give them today to get started in their life as far as applying STEM, going into business, getting into their professional lives, and so forth, given what you guys have said today? You guys come up here. Yeah, you can't do it. And one from each of you.
Okay. I'll keep this quick. The internet is an amazing thing, as we all know. Use it. Literally, the biggest thing I want to put in your mind is time. Okay? When you're trying to get into technology and you don't know where to start, time is your biggest asset, okay? And I want to make sure it's clear to you, time is your biggest asset. So what you need to do is do things to save time more than anything else. So if you want to learn JavaScript, you need to find somebody that actually knows JavaScript and go ahead and pay the $10 to buy them a cup of coffee to talk to them about JavaScript. Oh man, I'll buy you a pizza. Go ahead and pay the $7 for a pizza for them to teach you JavaScript. Your friends already. And that saves time. You want to know Java, PHP, anything. Have someone that is already in the field teach you, because that saves you time. Because for some reason, us as humans, the way we are wired, we can learn it and read it in 1,000 books, but it just makes sense when someone says, turn this knob like this and press that button, you get the result. And then you're like, wow, it makes sense now. But someone has to tell you. You could have read it in 1,000 ways, but when someone tells you and shows you, it makes sense. The second thing is invest in yourself. In terms of Georgia State, unfortunately, there is so much technology that it's impossible to present and teach you everything. When you graduate, I assure you, as much as I have hair on my back, and as much as I am a male in front of you, you will not know everything there is to know if you even went to school for technology, getting your computer science degree. With that being said, pay for classes. And I'm not talking about expensive classes, I'm talking about $10 a Udemy online. Get classes with Linda. Teach yourself the things that the school can't teach you, because it's just too much. It would take a lifetime to learn it all. So learn that one skill that you want to know to save yourself time. That $10 investment, that $50 investment, that $150 investment, if it saves you 30 hours, what's the dollar per hour on your return? If you invested $100 and it saves you 30 hours, You can do the math on that, and you can see how that works, okay? So, time, that's all I have to say.
And before Mr. Dowdy speaks for his answer as well, I wanted to say two things. First, before you go, please make sure you get some food. There's a lot of food, and there's not very many of you, so get some food. Second, she's going to discuss portfolio again.
No, I'm going to answer your question too.
Oh, she's going to answer my question too, which is even better.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go over the portfolio stuff.
No, not at all. We're on the agenda.
Okay, perfect.
So one of the things they mentioned, Lynda.com, is Georgia State student. There's resources for you to utilize that. I would say going to your GSU website to see all the different events. How many of you use Eventbrite? Okay, don't just go on there for social things. There are many conversations around STEM for women. There's also meetups that are designed for people who are interested in talking about this topic. And sometimes they will have introductory courses where you're sitting around the table with people who have the skills, some that want to gain the skills, and collaborate with folks like that. It might cost you $10 to park downtown or something like that, or just bring your own cup of coffee, but it's worth investment. Get around the arena if you're interested in that, in technology. Get around that arena. It's also a part of building relationships and networking. Okay.
Outside of the scope of, outside if you're not in the tech field, I have a big surprise for you. You're not going to walk into a place of employment and fill out an application. Don't happen anymore. It did when I was growing up. Doesn't happen anymore. Soft skills. Got to go back to it. Soft skills. You have to present yourself in a professional manner without somebody laying eyes on you. My wife and I had a conversation. We talk all the time. Before she actually interviews people, she interviews mostly managers. They've gone through 3 people online or over the phone before they get to her. That's all I have to give you. Prepare yourself. Thank you for your time. I just have great expectations of this crowd. I wish you well. If anything I can do to assist you in your future, let me know. Get in contact with this dealer right here. Thank you so much for your time.